Chug Along by Kate Dale. A young lady engineer and her engine face financial troubles but find opportunity in a race for millions. A small orange tank engine Phoenix shuts down the track with 4 coaches following the engineer. A red-headed girl in a red band and a light pokes her head out of the cab window. Phoenix whistles again. Peep. Phoenix pulls into the station and stops and lets off steam. The conductor walks up to the cab and points to his watch at Lee. Lee stares at him now nonchalantly, not really caring. Phoenix meanwhile looks over at where a passenger train begins its journey. It moves. Phoenix looks on disappointingly and sighs. Lee blows. Phoenix whistled once more. Peep peep. Phoenix looks back at Lee, who is pointing forward, and they unhook their coaches. We see a view of Lee's house, which seems to have vines and rust on in some places, showing it's pretty old. We also see a rusty mailbox with Ferguson painted on it. Lee walks up to the mailbox and opens it. She fishes out a couple of letters, all of which have Bill written on it. She shuffles through them nervously to find an ominous pink envelope with the words "Final Notice." She opens it worriedly, skims through the message, and moans anxiously. Lee sits in front of an old divan patched up and takes a sofa with the bills in her hand. She looks at them unhappily. She then puts them down next to her, picks up the old remote and begins channel surfing for 2 seconds. Suddenly something catches her eye and she stops with the channel changing. She looks on with wonder.
And announced today at City Hall, billionaire tycoon Coop Roost has begun taking entries for his so-called Steam Grand Prix, a train-only race to the other side of the state. First prize winner receives $5 million cash. More at 11.
We see the bottom of a neatly written contract, right where people would usually sign their names. Lee's hand comes into view with a pen and writes her name, Lynn Ferguson. A humanoid beholds the contract while hovering in front of Lee and then points to the well-built brick steamworks. Lee drives Phoenix in on the leading tracks. We see several track and machines about. Other trains and engineers lounge or get fixing. Phoenix and Lee come into view, and the others look at them and point and laugh. Both Lee and Phoenix frown. A young man, Bird Charles, walks with several boxes. One box falls and several oil cans tumble about. Lee runs up to Charles with a wrench and begins to help him pick up the cans. Lee gives him a friendly smile. He ignores it and walks to his train. Phoenix waits patiently when a large silver engine jock stops nearby, looks at him and scoffs notably. A street rat Jack butts out from Jock's cab and laughs at Phoenix, who blows off steam angrily. 6 engines approach the starting line. He waves the checkered flag. Then they're off. Jock roars in front with Phoenix and Phoebe tail him with the other 3 engines behind. We see a mountain with 6 separate tracks winding around several hills and cliffs. Jock remains in first, but Phoenix is close to overcoming him. Jock codes discreetly, sending various spaces in his smoke from his funnel. Suddenly a rumbling occurs, and then several rocks come crashing down on the rails. After the rock slide, the tracks are blocked, but Jock seems to have avoided it. Phoenix, along with the 4 other engines, chuff their way through the rubble. They break through, but are far behind Jock. Now at a rest stop with several coal hoppers, water towers, and sidings, Phoenix rests his wheels in his siding while oils his coupling rods. After finishing, he leans on Phoenix's boiler with a puzzled expression.
How that someone penniless like Jack can keep a fine engine like Jack? Possibly.
You know, doesn't it seem odd that only Jack avoided that rock slide earlier? Thoughtfully.
Jack is near Jock with a telephone in hand and dials. After doing so, the screen splits in half. Coop holds the top half with his end of the line while Jack is on the bottom. Whispers into the phone. Coop nods while drinking wine. The screen then splits vertically, revealing a spying Charles. Lee's dusting off when Charles walks up to her with the contract from before at hand. He whispers into her ear. Lee becomes shocked at what she hears. Charles points to an empty space on the last page. Lee and Phoenix rub their chins thoughtfully. Suddenly a light bulb flashes above Phoenix. Jock scuff, I'd smoke, and Rock slide. The trains are back in action. Jock still has the lead with Phonics and Phoebe close behind. Phonics eyes a steep rock hill ahead. Charles from behind points ahead, acknowledges and begins fumbling with Phonics' firebox. Phonics begins to cope, making funny smoke clouds. We see the bee with binoculars on the lever at hand. His antennae perk up as he sees the funny smoke and pulls the lever. Jock and Jack look back in disbelief. Rumbling is heard and another rock slide occurs. Jock stops in his tracks, but Phonics rockets forward. Phonics blows through the pile of rocks with gusto, with Phoebe trailing behind and Charles rooting. Jock snaps out of it and thunders forward. Spectators and Coop stand from the sides of the end with anticipation. Jock thunders on. Phonics barely keeps his lead, neck and neck, catcher to catcher down to the wire. Phonics crosses first with Jock and Phoebe right behind him. The crowd cheers, but Coop
looks undissatisfied.
Phonics pants and smiles, laps out of the cab and runs to Charles to give him a hug. Coop and a police dog standing by interrupt. Coop looks at Lee and points to the rock slide out in the distance, frowning. Charles butts in, clearing his throat accusingly. Lee walks over to Jock's cab, leaps in, and pulls out an egg-shaped crest with the initials drawn on it. Jock and Jack look away awkwardly while Coop looks on, shocked. Charles, standing by Coop, pulls out the contract in front of the crowd and flips to the last page. He pulls out a lighter, sets it to a small flame, and gently warms the paper. The empty space on the last page, after a few seconds of close flame, becomes filled with dim words stating losers of the race after 4 months must forfeit their engine to Mr. Coop Roost for immediate recycling. Coop is shocked once more and looks around nervously. The crowd begins to whisper, and the police dog glares at Coop. Coop sigh wearily, reaches into his coat pocket, and pulls out several stacks of money, and then hands it over to Lee. We see Lee sitting on Phonics' buffers. Both are relaxed. Charles stands by Phoebe, arms crossed and smelling. The wind blows gently and we see Lee's house in Phonics' shed, looking refurbished, good as new.